welcome to our warm-up session. My name is Kate. I'm one of the short course trainers at the National Institute of Circus Arts. Today we're going to go through a fairly gentle warm-up before we get into our core session. We're going through quite a gentle warm-up because we don't need to be like blood pumping, super hyped up for our core session today. So today is more about getting the body moving and being kind to our body. So all you're going to need is a yoga mat or a nice soft surface, and make sure you've got some clear space around you so that you're not going to hit anything if you're lifting your limbs, everything all out to the sides. All right, so let's get started. So coming onto your yoga mat, we're just going to start by gently circling the ankles. So nice and gentle, little rolls, and changing the direction. And changing feet, other side, rolling the ankle. Just getting everything moving after a day that you've probably all been working from home, sitting at your desk, and rolling the other direction. And then we're going to balance on one leg, or if you prefer to hold onto the wall, that's totally fine. Lifting up, and we're going to circle just from the knee. So we're trying to keep the hips still, and we're just circling from the knee. So for some of us, this will be quite a balance challenge, and if you don't want to be worrying about the balance, do grab the wall. Otherwise, if you feel like that challenge, go for it. Other direction. And then changing legs, circling the knee, trying to keep the hips still, and just circling from the knee. And then the other direction. And then placing the feet back on the floor. This time I would recommend grabbing the wall. I mean, you can do it balancing as well, but I find it particularly challenging. We're going to do a figure of 8 with the knee. So we're going to lift up one leg and we're going to draw it across the body and then open it out. And across and open. So this time we are trying to get the hips moving. Yeah? So we're trying to get the hip gliding gently. You can do these as small or as big as you feel is right for your body today. That's it. And then we're going to change sides and little figure of 8. I can only do small ones on this side because my hip is a little bit sore. You might find you're a little bit the same. One side is good, one side is not quite as free. Very nice. Bringing it into the middle of your mat, feet a little bit wider than your hips. And we're going to do some big hip circles, so nice big circles. With your body going in the opposing direction to your hips as you circle. Other direction. That's it. And bringing it up. Taking the arms out, and we'll just do some little reaches. So we're trying to keep the hips where they are, and we're just moving through the ribs. So we're trying to reach and reach and reach and reach. That's it. Again, this may be a really small movement for you, especially if you haven't done it before. The coordination of it can be quite strange. So you can just keep it really small, up to you. And then bring the arms up and we'll go for some nice big arm circles. That's it. And backwards. And bringing the arms out in front. I'm going to gently soften my knees now. With this one, we need to make sure there's nothing behind you that you're going to run into. So take a step forwards if you need to. Hands together, soften the knees. One hand's going to stay straight. And the other hand's going to slide along it as you rotate. So we're going to swing gently and rotate. And open. That's it. Soften the knees. You can let a little twist happen through the legs. Want it to be fairly relaxed. Don't go all rigid. It might be too much rotation too soon. And then bring it back to the center. This time, we're not going to rotate so much. We're just going to open through the arms and really peel the fingers back at each end point. And you should feel a gentle kind of nervy stretch through the front of your shoulders and your chest. So we're just gliding into it and coming back out. If you don't extend the fingers back, you may still find a stretch if you're quite tight, so you can sort of play around with it. If it feels too strong to peel the fingers back, just drop it back and keep them flat. And bring them down by your sides, give them a little shake out. And half circles with your head. Little half circles. That's it. And bring it back to the center. And we're going to look up gently and back down. When we're looking up, we're trying not to just drop the head back all the way. Controlling it up towards the ceiling and down. And up and down. Very nice. Let's come to the end of our mat and we're going to do some roll downs. So if you've done a few warm-ups with me, very similar sequence. Gosh, I'm getting a little bit blinded by the sunshine. So we're going to stand at the end of our mat. We're going to tuck our chin to our chest, tummy in nice and tight, and we're going to think about keeping our bottom squeezed as well, so that we're not rolling down by sticking our butt out. We're actually trying to fold down. Imagine we're against a wall and we're peeling down. So we're going to roll down, soften the knees if it's too strong with straight legs, and then from here we're going to walk it out to a nice strong plank position, and we're going to slowly lower down. And then arching up gently. If you just want to go onto your elbows for now, that's totally fine. If you'd like to push up higher, go for it. And then we're going to tuck the toes, push back to a downward dog. Take a little moment here, have a nice little stretch. And then we're going to walk the hands back in towards the feet, hanging over the legs. And then if you'd like to, straighten the legs before we roll back up. Nice and slow. Let's go. We're going to repeat. Chin to the chest, slowly down, little bit by little bit, letting everything hang over. Remember to soften the knees if you need to. Then we're going to walk it out into our plank shape. Nice and strong. Squeeze the bottom, tummy tight. Slowly down. If you need to go onto your knees to bring it down, go for it. And then arching up. You might find as we arch on each one, you might get a little bit higher as you slowly warm up. Coming down, tuck the toes, pushing back to a downward dog. So opening the chest to the floor, heels down towards the ground, stretching out the calves as well. And then gently walking the hands back in, and then slowly rolling all the way back up to standing. Let's go for two more. Chin down, rolling down slowly, and then we're going to walk it out all the way into that plank, slowly lowering down and arching up. I'm feeling a little bit more ready to come up higher in my arch. You may too, or you can stay lower. Does not matter. Tuck the toes, pushing back, opening the chest to the floor, heels to the ground, and walking it back in, nice and slow, and then rolling back up. Hopefully we're starting to feel a little bit more mobile. We're going to go for one more. So chin to the chest, slowly down. This sunshine is glorious, so nice. Walking it out into the plank, and slowly, slowly down to the floor, up for our final arch. Tucking the toes, back into the downward dog. Heels pressing down to the floor. Take a moment here to get a nice stretch. And then walking it back in. Coming and hanging over the legs. Just give everything a little shake while you're hanging here. So
Head side to side like you're saying no, relax the shoulders, hang over the legs, and then when you're ready, rolling back up to the center. Very nice. Coming into the middle of our mat, we're just going to take our legs out into a sumo position. So we're going to have our feet a bit wider than our hips and turning the feet out gently onto a 45. And first of all, we're going to do some squats, some little sumo squats. So we're going to go gently down, getting our hips nice and warm. Trying to keep the back nice and tall, tummy in, tight. And we're just going down to as low as you're comfortable. That's it. Get those hips moving. Mine is so tight today, so I apologise if I'm not the best demonstrator. And then we're going to stay down and we're going to pulse for 10. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Holding here, lifting one heel up, placing it down. Other heel up, placing it down. And the first one, and down. And the next one. See if you can go both at the same time. And back down. And again. And back down. One more. And lift quite hard. And back down. Very nice. And folding forwards. We're going to hang over in this forward fold again. But this time you can place your hands on the floor. And then imagine that your bottom is a pencil and you're going to draw a line on the roof. So you're just shifting the hips from side to side. So shifting side to side. I apologise if you can hear the background noise. I have painters all around the outside of my house, so it's very interesting to be filming these. You might want to pop some tunes on so you don't have to listen to them standing away. Alright, and from here, we're going to relax down and we're going to draw a figure of 8. So we're going to cross the elbows, figure of 8. And then we're going to roll up halfway, turning the knees out. And this time we're going to sink down into it and have a little stretch. And we're going to bring one shoulder forwards. Now we're going to swap other shoulder forwards. And then coming down onto the floor. So sitting on your mat with your legs out in front nice and gently, you're just going to drop one knee in and then swapping. So we're getting the hips rolling side to side. Again, as I explained at the start of the session, my aim for this warm-up is not to get all hot and sweaty. It's more about getting all your joints moving, getting the body out of that sitting down at your desk feeling from the day, and just kind of having a bit of time to yourself. And let's go for a gentle spinal twist. So we're going to lay down on the floor, arms out into a T, bending one knee up, taking it across the body. Come back to the middle, swapping legs over to the other side. And into the center, hug your knees to your chest, just take a few rock and rolls. If your floor is a little bit too firm, don't worry about these, you can just hug your knees into your chest and draw some circles. And then when you're ready, bring yourself up onto the mat. Grab yourself a drink if you need one. Get yourself organized with your mat and all the things that you need for the core session. So if you have a hand weight, grab it. If you have a drink bottle and fill it up with some water, that will act as your hand weight. And I think that's all we need. So I will see you in a second for the core session.
to our core session today. My name is Kate, I'm one of the trainers at the National Institute of Circus Arts, and I'll be taking you through this core session. I hope you've completed the 15-minute warm-up prior to this session, and now we're ready to get started. So today is all about working on our core, so our abdominal muscles, our deep abdominal muscles. We're going to work a little bit through our glutes and also through our back as well. So everything that supports around the center of our body. So the things that we'll need today, you'll need a yoga mat, or if you've got carpeted floor or a blanket or something like that, that's totally fine. We'll also need a little hand weight if you have one. So I have some small weights like this. Otherwise, if you do not have a hand weight, a drink bottle that you can fill up with water, I'm also just going to start my timer here, that you can fill up with water will act perfectly fine as your hand weight as well. So just keep those nearby. We don't need them to start with, but you can keep them to the side, and we'll get started. So bringing yourself down onto your mat. The first thing we're going to start with is we're going to start with a rock and balance. So many of my students will have done this one with me before. It's one of my favorites because if done with control, you actually have to use drawing your belly button in and starting to engage your tummy muscles to get the roll. Otherwise, it's very easy to just roll backwards and pop back up with momentum. So we're going to come into our little boat shape, making sure we have enough space behind us to roll. So we come up into a little boat shape and we bring the arms out to the side. If you're finding it really hard to balance with the arms out, you can gently hold on to the backs of your legs. From here, I want you to think about drawing your belly button into your spine. And by drawing your belly button into your spine, then you're starting to curve in your very lower back, like just at the top of your bottom. And then you curve the next one, and the next one, the next one, and that tips you back to roll and brings yourself back up to a nice tall spine and a balance into the same position. So we're going to repeat that 10 times. If you need a challenge, you can also start in a V shape and end in a V shape. It's up to you. I'm definitely going to do it in the tuck today, so we're going to come into that boat shape, draw the belly button in, and we're going to roll back and up to the balance. Trying not to just go straight back in with momentum. So drawing the belly button in, rolling back, and up to balance. That's 2. And drawing belly button in, and up. That's 3. Belly button in, and 4. And belly button in. That's 5. Try to find that balance each time. Belly button in. 6. If you're finding that you're getting a lot of clunks on the way down, you may need to use your hands to help you get that rounded spine, but we want to try to not get the thump, thump, thump onto the mat. So we're trying to warm up the spine, getting it all moving bit by bit. And one more. And back up to that balance. Nice. Lovely. Just give your legs a little shake out. Sometimes you'll find that through the front of your hip flexors gets quite tight in that one too, because it's also strengthening through the front of your hip flexors. So you might need to just give it a little wave out, relax it. As I explained in the warm-up session, today's session, my goal is not for it to be a big sweat session, for it to be slow, working the right muscles, getting quality over quantity, and kind of just giving your body a little bit of love, rather than let's go, 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 yeah? And this one's gonna help for people that are aerialists, for tumblers, all the different circus disciplines. Core is important for everything, all right? So we're gonna do some roll downs. A few options here. You can have your feet on the floor. We can also do it with straight legs, and we can also use the assistance of a resistance band or a belt or even like a towel or anything that you can wrap around your feet. So I'll quickly show you with the bent legs and then I'll explain the other options. So we're going to sit up nice and tall, similar to our rock and roll. We're going to draw the belly button in and we're trying to roll back from our bottom through our lower back all the way down until we almost touch the floor, and then we're going to try and roll back up and then sit tall. If you find while you're doing this that your feet are just flying up and you can't keep them grounded, grab yourself a belt, TheraBand,
anything that you can use as an anchor, and you can place it around your feet and you can roll down holding onto it and roll back up, and it should just give you a little bit of assistance. So if that's you, grab yourself something to help you out. If you find it way too easy with bent legs, you can also do it with straight legs. So toes pointed, nice long legs. We sit up tall, same thing. We scoop back and we roll down little bit by little bit, and we roll back up nice and slow. All right, pick your level and let's go. I'm going to go bent knees today, and I think that'll probably be the majority of you. So sitting up nice and tall, scooping back, and we're trying to go really slow. This one should not be fast. Slowly down, almost to the floor, and then slowly back up to a tall spine. I'm stopping us from going all the way to the floor today and taking our arms overhead so that we can't use momentum. So slowly down, and then slowly back up, trying to get to that nice tall posture at the top. As we do this, think about drawing your belly button in so we're not getting our abdominals popping up. We want to keep them nice and flat is the aim. And coming back up. And rolling back. Nice and slow. And back up. Let's go one more as normal, and then we have a super challenge. Rolling down and slowly back up. Okay, this time, as we go back, we're going to do 3 pulses. The aim is to almost do 3 pulses at each roll of the vertebra as it goes down. See how you go, that's quite hard, but you want to try and stop in each increment as much as you possibly can. So we roll back a little tiny bit and we go 1, 2, 3, keeping that belly pulled in. Roll back a tiny bit more. 1, 2, 3. A little 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 bit more. 1, 2, 3. Tiny bit more. 1, 2, 3. A little bit more. 1, 2, 3. A little bit more. 1, 2, 3. And then rolling all the way back up. It's hard, isn't it? It's hard, I think way harder when you're pulsing to keep those feet down. We're going to go for one more exactly like that. So sitting up nice and tall, and we'll go back a tiny bit, and we go 1, 2, 3. A little bit more. 1, 2, 3. A little bit further. 1, 2, 3. A little bit more. 1, 2, 3. Keep the feet down. A little bit more. 1, 2, 3. Tiny bit further. 1, 2, 3. And rolling it all the way back up. Very nice. Falling over. Have a little rest here. Get quite a burn with that one. It's quite a challenging one. Okay, we're going to do some rollovers this time. So we're going to lay back on the mat. Again, we just need to make sure we've got enough space behind us that we can take our feet over our head. So lay yourself down. We have a few different options for this one depending on the strength that you have through your abdominals. I am actually currently recovering from abdominal surgery about 7 weeks ago, so I apologise, some of my demonstrations are not going to be amazing because I'm quite weak, so I'm going to show you the easier options, and for a lot of us that probably will be where we're at because we've had quite a bit of time off from training, but I will also give you some advanced options if you're feeling super strong and you've been really committed to doing lots of exercise while you're home. So option A is you're going to just start with your legs directly up towards the roof, and from here we're going to start to bring our feet towards our face, and we're going to flex our feet and imagine we're pushing our heels towards the wall behind us. So we're going to push our heels towards the wall behind us, and then we can point and we fold them down so we're getting a nice tight pike stretch, and then we're going to roll as slow as we possibly can all the way back to the mat. So we're working on our compression here as well as our control. And level 1 just go back to this L-shaped position. If you want to make it a bit harder, you can take the legs away from you and lower down before you then go over. Be aware if you're doing that option that you don't just use momentum to then whip yourself over. I'd like you to lower, then stop at 90 and then control over, okay? But I'm just gonna do them from 90. So we're gonna take the feet towards our face, flex them, and now imagine your heels are pushing towards the wall behind you. Then we can point the toes and fold them down and slowly try to roll back down in a nice tight pike shape. And we're still drawing our belly button into our spine. And we're going slowly, slowly, slowly. And then come back to either 90 or adding your leg lower in if you'd like to. Then bring it back to the 90 and we're going to go again. Toes over, flex, push the heels towards the wall, then folding, and then slowly belly button in, little bit by little bit, controlling it all the way back down to the mat. Adding your leg lower if you want to, or just hanging out here for a second. Then bring it back to the 90, and we're gonna flex the feet, push the heels over towards the wall behind us, and then pointing and lowering down, and then slowly back down, nice and long, little bit by little bit. Now, I'm doing it without holding on to anything. If you're really struggling, you can hold on to something, or you can bring your hands down by your side just to give you a little bit of assistance here. Only difference is I find I use my neck a little bit more when I have my hands lower, and I also prefer the hands long because it mimics what we would do in the air, or even like when you're tumbling and stuff, you want that long position. So taking the heels over, but work within your range. If you can't get over in this long position, by all means, change your shape. And then slowly back, down, little bit by little bit. And then hug your knees in and bring yourself up. All right, we're gonna move on to some dead bugs. So staying with our back, we're gonna come into a tabletop position. When we come into this position, we want to be thinking about drawing our belly button into our spine and not letting it pop up. So we're trying to engage our deep abdominal muscles now. So we want to think about, sometimes it helps to think about stopping a pee, stopping a wee, or thinking about drawing your pubic bone up towards your belly button slightly, and you're just trying to draw it in. We're not trying to like cram it into the floor, so we don't want to be curling up. It's just a gentle drawing in of that belly button. And from there, we're going to lift up into our tabletop position. Now, when we're in this position, it's important that we're not bringing our knees right into our chest. We want to keep them stacked over our hips. And then for our dead bugs, we bring our hands up into the air like we're a dead bug laying on the floor. And we're going to extend one leg long and the opposite arm long. Bring it back to that position, and then we change. What often happens with this one is when we extend a leg, we bring the other one in, which makes it a lot easier. So if you really want to challenge yourself, try to keep that knee locked, and the other one is extending and coming back in. If you are finding that quite challenging, just don't go as low. So you can go higher with the legs, or you could also take the arms out of the picture. All right, we're going to go for 20. So get into your dead bug position, belly button into the spine, and we're going to extend long and coming back. And the other side and back. Remember those knees, don't let them drift towards your tummy. Keeping them in that position right above your hips. That's it, that's 6. I'm going to go for 7. Keep drawing the belly button into the spine. 8. And 9. 10. Keep reminding yourself about the knees. Have a look at them. Are they drifting? And we're just keeping our head flat on the mat for this one. Nice and relaxed. And if you're getting tired as you're going, you can raise the legs a little bit higher. They don't have to go as low. I've lost count a little bit. Let's go one more on each side. And the final one. Back to the middle, hug your knees into your chest. Little rock and roll. Relaxing after that one. Lovely. And then coming back into our position with our feet relaxed on the floor. We're going to go into a C curve hold this time. So we've worked the lower abdominals quite a bit. Excuse me. Now we're going to get our upper abs working. So again, we want to think about drawing the belly button into the spine for this one, and we don't want to be tilting the pelvis. We want to try and keep a nice neutral spine. Belly button in, and we're going to bring the hands, actually we'll start with them by our sides. We'll start with the first progression, and we're just going to gently nod our chin and imagine someone's pulling us with our hands to curl up. So like your classic curl, but we want to think about trying not to like round your lower back to get you nice and high. So keep that switched on, belly button in, neutral spine, and rolling up. See if you can go a little bit higher. And rolling back down. All right, we're going to do 5 of these for a 10-second hold at the top. If you want to challenge, you can come back into the tabletop position and do the exact same exercise in the tabletop. I'm going to keep my feet on the floor for now. All right, let's go. So nod the chin, and rolling up and holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, belly button in, 4, 3, 2, 1, rolling back down to the floor. And again, nod the chin, lifting up, trying not to just curl the neck, try to lift from your chest. 8, 7, 6, flat body, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back down. And nod and roll. And up and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Belly button in. 5, 6, 7, 8. A little bit higher. 9, 10. Rolling down. I think we have 2 more to go. Have a little wriggle if you need to. Relax everything, then reset. Belly button in and rolling up. Nice and high. As high as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, a little bit higher, 1, rolling down. We have one last one. And drawing the belly button in, curling up and holding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Rolling back down. Have a little stretch. Nice and long. We won't actually stretch out the abdominals yet, but just reaching long. This one's a really good one because it's a good progression for like your dish holds and things. If you find dish holds really difficult, we're essentially breaking down the upper body part of it. And then with all those leg extension works like dead bugs and things, we're building up the leg position slowly. Okay, we're going to go into, sorry, I'm looking at my little lesson plan. We're going to go into our taking the hats off. So this is also a good one to build up the dish holds, but we're just moving through the position. So we're going to combine all the things we've just done, and we're going to lift the legs into our tabletop position. Remember that belly button switches on before we lift, drawing it in, and we're lifting up. From here, we're now going to curl up into our little C curve, and then we're going to extend both the legs and the hands. So we're going to brush the hands along the body, take our hat off, and then we circle and bring it back around. You can pick your level with this one. You can go legs long and low, you can go legs long and on a high angle, or you can go one leg at a time if that's easier for you. Let's go for 10. So coming into your tabletop position, curling up, and we're going to extend. Take the hat off for 1 and around. Take the hat off for 2, circle around. Take the hat off for 3 and around. Belly button in, 4, nice flat tummy, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. If you need to reduce the load, you can bring the legs a little bit higher, and 10. Very nice, hugging in, little rock. I think we'll do a second set of those ones. And in that second set, if you need to regress the position a little bit, go for it. So remember, legs can go higher or a single leg. So let's bring it back into our tabletop. Nice and controlled, curling up and extending, hat off for 1, hat off 2, take that off again for 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, trying to keep a nice long neck, 7, and 8, and 9, keep that tummy drawn in, and 10, and hug it in, very nice. Lovely, we're going to come over onto our hands and knees into our cat shape. Now just quickly warm up your wrists a little bit before we put our weight through our hands. And we're going to come into a 4-point hover. So first of all, come into your cat shape. Now in our cat shape, for this particular exercise, we don't want to be in a happy cat, so with our tummy sticking down to the floor. We also don't want to be an angry cat. We want to be in a nice neutral cat shape with a nice long spine. And this includes our head. So a lot of us want to do this, or we want to look forwards. Think about imagining that from your tailbone all the way through to your tip of your head needs to stay in one line. Sometimes it can help to think about a triangle in front of your hands, and at that point, that's where you have to keep looking, and that can also be a nice little cue. If you're someone that really struggles with it, put something there. You can put something down that you need to keep looking at the whole time while you do the exercise. That can really help. All right, from here, we're going to try and get our knees underneath our hips and our hands underneath our shoulders, and we're going to tuck our toes. We're going to draw our belly button into our spine. So we're going to switch on, and then we're just going to hover our knees off the mat. It's not a high hover, it's literally like 2 centimeters off the ground. And we're going to hover, and we're going to hold. And see if you can keep drawing your belly button in. You have to work against gravity for this one. Figure out where your head is. Is it dropping down? Is it looking up? Find that position. Find your little triangle or your magazine spot in front of you that you're going to read. Keep drawing that belly button in, and then coming back to the mat and relax. Very nice. It's quite hard. It's almost harder than a plank position. So we're going to do some plank step outs from here. So we're going to come up into our little hover, so drawing the belly button in, looking at the right point on the floor, or your triangle point, lifting up, and then we're going to step the foot out, step the other foot out, come back into the hover. That's it, and repeat. Step out, in. Try to keep that neutral position through your spine as you go. That's it. Keep bringing it back in. Try not to get too high with your hover. I keep doing funny orders with my legs, but it doesn't really matter as long as we're stepping in and we're stepping out. Keep drawing that belly button in, don't let it switch off. It's going to want to. You have to keep reminding it. Tummy in. Back to the hover, lowering down. Let's come off the wrist for a second and give it a little roll out. Very nice. It's quite a challenging one. It looks simple, but it's quite challenging. All right, come back into that position and we'll go for a few more. So back into the hover, tuck the toes, lifting up gently, and then keeping your head in line as well, tummy pulled up. I'm going to step out and back in, and out, 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 and back in. And relaxing down, roll the shoulders out. Can be quite tiring on the shoulders, that one as well. All right, let's come into, we'll give our shoulders a little rest. We'll come into some scissor crunches, and then we'll go back onto our sides for our side planks. Gonna come down onto the floor for this one. This will also give you a nice hamstring stretch as well as working your tummy. So we're going to bring the legs up. We're going to come into our little C curve again, and we're going to drop one down to the floor and grab the other one, and we go pulse, pulse, and swap, pulse, pulse, swap, pulse, pulse, All right, let's go for 2 sets of 10 of these. We'll have a little break in between the whole time. We're thinking about keeping our tummy nice and flat, belly button in. If you can't pull your leg that close, it's okay. It can stay to here and you can swap. You don't have to actually grab the ankle depending on your flexibility. So legs up, curling up, and let's go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and hug it back in. Little rest, legs up, curl up, let's go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and hugging them in, have a little rest. Nice. Now our hamstrings are nice and warm as well. Okay, this is the time to grab your weight or your drink bottle that's filled up with water, and we're going to do some kayaks. So we're going to start working on our obliques. You have a few options. So holding just one weight in your hands, you can keep the feet on the floor for this one, or you can lift up into that boat position, up to you. And what we're going to do is we're going to kayak, so we're going to rotate like we're scooping the water, and scooping the water, and scoop, and scoop, and scoop. Alright, so same movement, whether you've got your feet grounded or your feet lifted, and we're going to go for 20 kayaks, and I'll do them with you. So into your position, weight in the hands, and we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Nice. Little rest. You may find with this one that your hip flexors are just gripping really tight. Try it with your feet down if that's the case for the second set. We're going to do another 20. So we're going to lift up. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Excellent. You can pop your weight away. We don't need it anymore. For our side planks, we've got a few different options, a few different progressions. So you have the option of staying on your knees and lifting up. So when we're in these side plank positions, no matter which position you are in, we want to make sure our shoulder is over our hand and we're a nice long line down the body. So if we're on our knees, we can lift and we can hold here, okay? If we would like to progress it a little bit more, we can extend the legs and we can stagger them and lift up and hold. In this position, trying still to keep a nice long line with our body so we're not actually opening towards the ceiling of that top leg. That's one option. Then our third option is stacking the feet in our line, and then the next one, I'm not actually sure if I'm strong enough for it at the moment, is lifting the leg up to the side. So you can pick your level, and we're going to hold for 30 seconds, then we're going to turn over and do 30 seconds on the other side, twice. Alright, let's go. Ready, into your positions, and we've pressed the timer, off we go. So I'm going to lift into the staggered one, holding up. Try to keep the head in line so we're not letting it drop down. Keeping it in line, drawing the belly button in, trying to stabilize all those little wobbles, holding nice and strong. That's it, keep breathing while you're here. You guys have to listen to me puffing and panting. I hope you've got music on to cover that. Alright, getting ready to change to the other side and rolling over onto the other side. Pick the same level of difficulty on both sides. And holding. That's it. Line that head up and then keep holding. Keep breathing. Think about where your hips are. Try to line them up. We want one long line from our head to our toes. That's it. Stopping all the wobbles. You got it, we're almost there. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to the first side. Ready? Let's go. If you need to reduce the level that you're at, go for it. And holding. That's it. Line the head up. It's always the hardest one. Keep the bottom squeezed. Tummy nice and tight. And holding. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Onto our last side. Over we go. And lifting up and holding. Let's go. I've got to always remember my head. It always wants to drop down. So lifting it up. Nice and strong. Keep breathing through all the wobbles. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming down, very nice. We're going to come onto our backs. We're going to do a tiny bit of glute work and then we will be finished. So laying onto our backs, feet benting. We don't want to jam them up by our butt, so I don't want them way out, wherever is comfortable for you. From here, we're going to think about drawing our belly button into our spine and almost think about drawing your pubic bone up towards your tummy to get a little bit of a pelvic tilt. So we're going to try and tilt the bucket of water onto ourselves, imagining your hips are the bucket of water, and then we're squeezing our bottom and we're rolling up to our bridge. In this position, we don't want to flare the ribs out, keep them in, nice long line, and then we're going to roll back down. Okay, we've got 9 more. Rolling up to the top, keep the ribs in, rolling back down, little bit by little bit. That's 2. And squeeze the bottom, pelvic tilt, rolling up and rolling back down to the mat. That's 3. And squeeze and rolling up. Trying to get rid of all the wobbles, keeping it nice and smooth. Getting the clunks out of your back if you've got one bit that just goes and straight up. See if you can articulate a little bit better. And rolling back down. That's it. And back up. And back down. And number 6. Really trying to squeeze the bottom. We want to feel a nice burn in our glutes. And rolling back down. And number 7. Slowly down. And number 8. Rolling up. And the last one. Squeeze and rolling up. And back down. Excellent. Just give them a little bash out if you need to. And we're going to roll over to our tummy and we're going to do some swimming. So you might want to stay sitting up while I explain and then join me. So in this position, I'm going to lay face down with my forehead on the floor. Then I'm going to imagine that I'm being stretched and I'm reaching to the opposing walls as much as I can. And when I reach so much, it starts to lift me off the floor. So I'm not thinking about lifting, I'm thinking about reaching, and as a result of that, I start to hover off the floor and my forehead just comes off the floor, but I keep looking at the floor the whole time. So I'm going to extend, and then we're going to swim. So opposite arm to leg, and we're going to swim for 30 seconds, have a little rest, and then do another 30 seconds, okay? So onto your tummy, in position. Someone's pulling you in opposite directions, forehead just comes off the floor, and we're going to swim. Let's go. Still think about drawing your belly button in slightly so we're not completely relaxing, and we're keeping rigid arms and legs for our swim to nowhere. That's it. Keep swimming, keep looking at the floor, try to listen to me rather than looking up with your head. So keep going. 10 more seconds, keep swimming. Think about that drawn in. And relaxing down, have a little rest. And we'll do a second set of our swims. So we're gonna hop into position, looking at the mat, stretching long, lift the forehead off, and let's go. Swim, swim, swim. There you go. Nice long line, so think about pointed toes, stretch knees, rigid legs. Keep swimming. 10 more seconds, keep going. And relax, very nice. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of a cool down, stretch out through our tummy and do a bit of a back extension. So we're going to bring the hands by your sides. We're still gonna work hard for this one. And we're gonna think about keeping the elbows in by the side, squeezing your shoulder blades together and lifting up as high as you can. Then gently placing your hands on the floor and arching up the rest of the way. And then on the way down, imagine someone's got a string on your chest and they're pulling you forwards and you're rolling bit by bit all the way back down. Then to lift up, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift as far as you can without the hands, and then pressing up the rest of the way. Chest leading forwards all the way down. And then squeeze and lift and rolling up. And then chest gets pulled and down. And two more, squeeze and lift. Gently press and rolling. And last one, squeeze. And rolling back down. And just push back into a child's pose. Have a little rest. I like to have a little wriggle here. Shift around. And coming forward, we'll go for a nice little glute stretch. So crossing one leg underneath, other leg on top, getting both sit bones to the floor, and you're going to hug the top knee to your chest. Think about sitting tall and then gently rotating. It can help sometimes to think about using your tummy muscles to get this rotation rather than just jamming yourself around. Think about stretching tall and squeezing to get the rotation. And back to the center, swapping legs. So top leg under, other leg on top. Get both sit bones on the floor, hug the knee into the chest, lifting tall, and then rotating. And back to the middle. All right, we are all finished for our core session today. I hope you enjoyed it. This session is one that you can keep coming back and revisiting on the page because it's a good one to repeat because we've done a little bit of everything, so you can kind of add it into your workout schedule for the week. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. Thanks.